The stars looked different tonight. Captain Ryan Bell pressed his face against the cold glass of Terra Watch Station and stared into the black space above Earth. Something was coming. His sensors had been screaming warnings for 3 days now. "Sir, you need to see this," Lieutenant Kate Adams called from her station. Her voice shook just a little. Ryan had known Kate for 2 years, and she never got scared easily. Ryan floated over to her screen. The numbers made his stomach drop. 847 ships, all of them bigger than anything humans had ever built. All of them heading straight for Earth. "How long until they get here?" Ryan asked. 18 hours, Kate said. "Maybe less." Ryan looked around the small station. 23 people lived and worked here. They watched the skies and sent reports back to Earth. They were not soldiers. They had not signed up to fight aliens. "Send everything to Earth Command," Ryan said. "Tell them we have big trouble coming." Down on Earth, President Jake Morrison sat in a room deep under the White House. The walls were thick concrete, no windows. Just him and his most trusted people. General Lisa Hayes sat across from him. Her uniform was perfect, but her eyes looked tired. "How bad is it?" Jake asked. "Bad," Lisa said. "We count almost 900 ships. Each one could probably destroy a city by itself." Defense Secretary Carl Jung leaned forward. "Our military is good, but not that good. We have maybe 200 fighter jets that can reach space. They have 900 warships." Jake rubbed his face with both hands. 3 years as president, and now this. Aliens. Real aliens, and they did not look friendly. "What do they want?" Jake asked. "We think they want us to give up," Lisa said. "Most alien races do this. They show up with a big fleet. They tell the planet to surrender. Usually people say yes. And if we say no?" Lisa did not answer right away. "Then they start shooting." At the back of the room, Dr. Amy Foster sat very quietly. She had not said a word since the meeting started. Jake knew Amy ran some kind of science project, something secret, but right now, science did not seem very helpful. "Do we have any options?" Jake asked. Carl shook his head. "We can evacuate the big cities, try to save as many people as possible, but fight them. We would lose in minutes." Jake looked at Amy. "Doctor, do you have anything? Any ideas?" Amy looked up. Her eyes were strange, not scared like everyone else, almost calm. "I need to make some phone calls," Amy said. Meanwhile, high above Earth, the alien fleet moved closer. Admiral Zethkar stood on the bridge of his flagship. He was 7 feet tall with dark green skin and yellow eyes. His people, the Draconians, had conquered 43 worlds. Earth would be number 44. "How much longer?" Zethkar asked, his second in command. 16 hours, Admiral. The humans have seen us. Their little station is sending messages." Zethkar laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. "Let them send messages. Let them be afraid. Fear makes surrender easier." The Draconian fleet was beautiful and terrible. The ships looked like giant metal dragons flying through space. Each one had enough weapons to level mountains. Together, they could burn whole continents. Back on Terra Watch, Ryan and his crew watched the alien ships get bigger and bigger. Engineer Pete Collins floated next to Ryan holding a cup of coffee with shaking hands. "Think they will talk to us first?" Pete asked. "Maybe," Ryan said, but he did not believe it. Kate called out again. "Sir, we are getting a transmission from the aliens. Put it on the main screen." The screen flickered. Then Admiral Zethkar appeared. His yellow eyes stared right at them. When he spoke, his voice was deep and cold. "Humans of the planet Earth. I am Admiral Zethkar of the Draconian hegemony. Your world now belongs to us. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Lay down all weapons. Gather in your cities. Prepare for occupation." The alien paused. His mouth showed sharp teeth. "If you resist, we will destroy you. All of you. Your cities will burn. Your people will die. We have done this before. We will do it again. You cannot fight us. You cannot hide from us. You can only surrender." The transmission ended. The bridge of Terra Watch was completely quiet. "Well," Pete said finally, "that was not friendly." Down on Earth, every television and radio played the same message. In New York, people ran through the streets. In London, the government held emergency meetings. In Tokyo, families gathered to pray. At NORAD, deep inside Cheyenne Mountain, Commander Alex Stone watched dozens of screens. Next to him, Colonel Beth Turner tracked the alien ships as they moved into position around Earth. "They are surrounding us," Beth said. "Cutting off any escape routes." Alex nodded. He had spent 20 years in the military. He had fought in wars. But this was different. This was the end of everything he knew. "Any word from Washington?" Alex asked. "The president is meeting with his advisors. But what can they say?" "We are outgunned by about 1,000 to 1. Back in the White House bunker, Jake Morrison stared at the alien message playing on repeat. 72 hours. 3 days to decide the fate of humanity. "We cannot surrender," Carl said. "Once they land, they will never leave." "We cannot fight them either," Lisa replied. "It would be suicide." Jake looked at Amy again. She was typing, on her phone, sending message after message. "Dr. Foster, who are you texting at a time like this?" Amy looked up. For the first time, she smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who knew a secret. "I am calling in some favors," Amy said. The countdown clock in the White House bunker showed 48 hours left. President Jake Morrison had not slept in 2 days. His coffee had gone cold hours ago, but he kept drinking it anyway. Dr. Amy Foster walked into the room carrying a thick folder. She looked different now, more confident, like she had been waiting for this moment her whole life. "Mr. President, I need to tell you something," Amy said. "Something that has been secret for 70 years. Jake looked up. "What kind of secret?" Amy sat down and opened her folder. Inside were photos, documents, and things that looked like alien technology. "We have been preparing for this day since 1954, Amy said. "My father worked on it. His father, before him. We call it Project Aegis." General Lisa Hayes leaned forward. "I have never heard of any Project Aegis." "That was the point," Amy said. "Only 12 people in the world know about it, now 13. Amy pulled out a photo. It showed a crashed ship in the desert. The ship was not human. "Roswell was real," Amy said. "But it was not the first. We have been finding crashed alien ships for almost 80 years. We studied them, we learned from them, we built things." Defense Secretary Carl Jung stared at the photo. "What kind of things?" Amy smiled that strange smile again. "Things that can make problems disappear." Meanwhile, up on Terra Watch Station, Captain Ryan Bell was having the worst day of his life. The alien fleet had moved closer. The ships were so big they blocked out stars. Some of them were 5 miles long. "Any new messages from the aliens?" Ryan asked. Lieutenant Kate Adams shook her head. "Nothing since the surrender demand. They are just sitting there, waiting." Engineer Pete Collins floated by with a tablet full of sensor readings. "The weird thing is their power levels. Look at this." Pete showed Ryan the screen. The alien ships were using massive amounts of energy. More energy than they should need just to fly. "What are they powering?" Ryan asked. "I do not know," Pete said. "But it is big, really big." Navigator Sam Wright called from across the station. "Sir, I am getting some strange readings. The space around the fleet is different." "Different how?" "Like it is bending," Sam said. "I know that sounds crazy, but the stars behind them look twisted." Ryan frowned. In 20 years of space work, he had never seen anything like that. Down on Earth, Amy Foster was still talking to the president. She had spread out dozens of photos and documents on the table. "We have facilities in 12 countries," Amy said. "Hidden bases, underground laboratories. We have been building defenses that nobody knows about." Jake picked up one of the photos. It showed a room full of machines that looked impossible, glowing crystals, metal that seemed to flow like water. "This is all alien technology?" Jake asked. "Alien technology that we improved," Amy said. "We made it better, stronger. We have had 70 years to work on it." Lisa Hayes was reading through some of the documents. This says you can manipulate space itself, make things disappear. Is that possible? Amy nodded. We tested it on small objects first, then bigger ones. We made a whole mountain disappear once, just for practice. Carl Jung looked sick. You made a mountain disappear? Which mountain? Do not worry, Amy said. It was empty. No people, no animals. Just rock. We put it back after 3 days. Jake stood up and walked around the room. So you are telling me we can make the alien fleet disappear? That is exactly what I am telling you, Amy said. Why did you not say this before? Amy looked serious. Because once we use this technology, the secret is out. Every alien race in the galaxy will know that humans are not helpless. Everything changes after that. Jake sat back down. Show me. Amy pulled out a small device. It looked like a phone, but it glowed with soft blue light. This connects to all our facilities around the world. Dr. Nick Taylor is at the main base, in Nevada. Engineer Maria Santos is at the backup facility in Norway. They are waiting for my signal. Jake stared at the device. And this will make 900 alien warships disappear? All of them, Amy said, in about 10 seconds. Up on TerraWatch, the sensor readings were getting stranger. Communications officer Dan Parker was trying to make sense of what his equipment was telling him. Captain, the space around the alien fleet is doing something weird, Dan said. It is like reality is getting wobbly. Ryan looked out the window. The alien ship still looked solid and real, and terrifying. How much time left on their deadline? Ryan asked. Kate checked her clock. 6 hours and 23 minutes. Sir, Sam Wright called out. The energy readings from the alien ships just spiked. Whatever they are powering up, they are almost ready to use it. Pete Collins floated over with his tablet. Captain, I think they are charging weapons. Really big weapons. Planet-killing weapons. Ryan felt cold. If the aliens were preparing to attack, the surrender deadline might not matter anymore. Back in the White House bunker, Amy Foster was explaining how her technology worked. We do not destroy the ships, she said. We relocate them, move them, somewhere else, somewhere safe. Safe for who? Jake asked. Safe for everyone, Amy said. The aliens will not be hurt. They will just be elsewhere. Lisa Hayes looked confused. Where is elsewhere? Think of it like a pocket, Amy said. A pocket in space where nothing else exists. They will be alive. Their ships will work, but they cannot leave, and they cannot come back. Jake rubbed his temples. He had a headache that felt like it might split his skull. What if it does not work? Jake asked. Amy looked him straight in, the eyes. Then we all die. But Mr. President, it will work. We have tested it hundreds of times. Jake looked at the glowing device in Amy's hands. Such a small thing to hold the fate of the world. On TerraWatch, alarms started ringing. Kate Adams was shouting readings from her station. Power spike. Massive power spike from the alien fleet. Ryan grabbed the nearest radio. All stations, this is TerraWatch. The aliens are powering something big. Repeat, they are. The transmission cut off. Every screen on TerraWatch went white. The lights flickered. Then everything went completely dark. When the lights came back on, Ryan looked. Out the window, empty space, nothing but stars. The alien fleet was gone. Captain Ryan Bell floated in front of the window of TerraWatch station, staring at empty space. His hands were shaking. Lieutenant Kate Adams kept running sensor sweeps, but the results were always the same. Nothing. No ships. No debris. No energy. Signatures. The Draconian fleet had simply stopped existing. Run the scan again, Ryan said. Sir? I have run it 27 times, Kate replied. There is nothing out there. It is like they were never here at all. Engineer Pete Collins drifted, over with his tablet. The only proof we have is our recorded data. Everything else is gone. Navigator Sam Wright called from his station. Captain, we are getting calls from Earth. Everyone wants to know what happened. Ryan picked up the radio. He did not know what to say. How do you explain that 900 warships just disappeared? Earth Command, this is Terrawatch. The alien fleet is gone. Gone? What do you mean gone? I mean they are not here anymore. They vanished. All of them. There was a long silence from Earth then. Are you sure your sensors are working? Ryan looked at Kate. She nodded. Our sensors are fine, Ryan said. The aliens are just not here anymore. 3 days later, news of the vanishing had spread across the galaxy. On the planet Zephyr Prime, High Chancellor Veltara sat in her crystal palace reading reports. Her blue skin had turned pale with fear. The entire Third Strike Fleet? She asked her advisor. All 847 ships, the advisor confirmed. Admiral Zethkar, 2.3 million soldiers, gone without a trace. Veltara stood and walked to her window. She could see 3 moons in the sky. Her people had ruled this part of the galaxy for 1,000 years, but now she was afraid. How does a primitive species make an entire fleet disappear? She asked. Her advisor shook his head. We do not know. The humans claim they had nothing to do with it. Do you believe them? No, the advisor said, but we have no proof they did anything. Veltara touched a button on her desk. Send orders to all our fleets. Stay away from human space. Far away. On the waterworld of Myrthol, the Confederation Council met in their underwater city. The blue-skinned aquatic aliens swam in circles around a holographic display, showing the last known position of the Draconian fleet. This changes everything, said Council leader Nixara. If humans can make the Draconians disappear, what can they do to us? We should withdraw our trade ships from human space immediately, suggested another council member. Already done, Nixara said. I gave the order yesterday. Even the peaceful Ilari Republic was worried. Ambassador Tim Rogers, the first human to visit their homeworld, found himself called to an emergency meeting. The Ilari looked like tall, thin humans with silver skin and large eyes. Ambassador Rogers, said Prime Minister Lysiandra, we must ask you directly, what happened to the Draconian fleet? Tim spread his hands. He honestly did not know the truth. President Morrison had not told him about Project Aegis. I wish I could tell you, Tim said. My government says they had nothing to do with it. But you understand why we are concerned? Lysandra asked. Tim nodded. If I were you, I would be concerned too. But I promise you, humanity wants peace with all species. That is what the Draconians thought about themselves, Lysandra said, quietly. Back on Earth, investigative journalist Rob Phillips was trying to uncover the truth. He had spent 3 weeks digging through government records, interviewing officials, and following paper trails. There is something they are not telling us, Rob told his research assistant, Linda Carter. The government knows more than they are saying. Linda looked up from her computer. I found something interesting. There are budget entries going back 70 years. Millions of dollars spent on something called Special Research Division. What kind of research? That is the problem. It is all classified. But the amounts are huge. Billions of dollars over the decades. Rob leaned back in his chair. You do not spend billions of dollars on nothing. They were building something. Something big. Meanwhile, Captain Ellen Martinez was having problems of her own. She commanded the exploration vessel New Horizon, one of humanity's few interstellar ships. For 2 years, she had visited alien worlds and made peaceful contact. Now, everything had changed. Captain, called her first officer, Commander Bill Jackson. The station on Kepler 442b is refusing to let us dock. Ellen frowned. The aliens on Kepler 442b had always been friendly before. They sold fuel and supplies to human ships. Did they? Say why? They said humans are too dangerous now. They want us to leave their system immediately. Ellen walked to the bridge window. She could see the alien space station in the distance. It looked the same as always, but everything felt different now. Set course for home, Ellen said. Looks like our exploring days are over. It was the same story everywhere humans went. Alien, species that had been friendly suddenly wanted nothing to do with Earth. Trade agreements were canceled. Diplomatic meetings were postponed. Some species even moved their ships away when they saw human vessels approaching. On the Draconian homeworld, panic had set in. Regent Morthak, who had taken over after Admiral Zethkar's disappearance, called an emergency meeting of the High Command. "We must assume that humans are responsible," Morthak said. "No natural phenomenon could make an entire fleet vanish." "But how?" asked General Carthax. "Our intelligence report said they were barely capable of spaceflight." "Our intelligence was wrong," Morthak replied. "Very wrong." The Draconian military leaders sat in uncomfortable silence. They had built their empire on fear and superior technology. Now they faced an enemy that could make their fleets disappear without firing a shot. "What are your orders?" General Carthax asked. Morthak thought for a long moment. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them we want to talk. Tell them we want peace." Back on Earth, Rob Phillips was getting closer to the truth. Linda had found references to underground facilities, secret meetings, and mysterious technology projects. "Look at this," Linda said, showing Rob a document on her screen. "Dr. Amy Foster has been running something called Project Aegis for 20 years. Her father ran it before her." "What is Project Aegis?" "I do not know, but it gets funding from the Pentagon, NASA, and some agencies I have never heard of." Rob stood up. "We need to find Dr. Foster." "I already tried," Linda said. "According to official records, she does not exist." "What do you mean she does not exist?" "I mean, there is no Dr. Amy Foster in any government database, no birth certificate, no social security number, no college records, nothing." Rob felt a chill run down his spine. "Then who was at the White House during the crisis?" Linda shrugged. "A ghost, apparently." At that moment, in a facility hidden deep under the Nevada desert, Dr. Amy Foster was talking to her team. Dr. Nick Taylor and engineer Maria Santos sat at a table covered with alien technology and human improvements. "The word is spreading fast," Amy said. "Every alien government in the galaxy is talking about what happened here." "Are we ready for what comes next?" Nick asked. Amy looked at the screens showing alien news broadcasts. Species that had never heard of humans before were now discussing Earth with fear and respect. "We have been preparing for this moment for 70 years, Amy said. "Now we find out if we are ready or not." Maria pointed to one of the screens. "The Draconian government just announced they want to open peace talks with Earth." Amy smiled. "Good. Fear is the beginning of respect, and respect is the beginning of real diplomacy." Outside, the world continued to wonder what had really happened to the alien fleet. But deep underground, the keepers of humanity's greatest secret prepared for the next phase of their plan. Rob Phillips stood outside a small diner in Nevada looking at his notes. After weeks of searching, he had finally found someone willing to talk. The man sitting across from him was old, maybe 70 years old, with gray hair and tired eyes. "You said you knew my father," the man said. "His name was Colonel Steve Parker, retired." "What did he tell you about the old days?" Rob leaned forward. "He said there were things the government kept secret, things about visitors from space." Steve looked around the empty diner. The waitress was in the back room. Nobody else was listening. "Your father was right," Steve said quietly. "It started in 1954. I was just a young soldier then." Steve pulled out an old photograph. It showed a group of military men standing next to what looked like a crashed alien ship. This was taken in New Mexico. Not Roswell. A different place. "We found 3 ships that year. All crashed. All empty." Rob stared at the photo. "What did you do with them?" "We studied them. We took them apart. We learned how they worked." Steve put the photo away. "That was the beginning of Project Aegis. Who else knew about this?" "Not many. Maybe 20 people in the whole world. We kept it that way for good reasons." Steve ordered another cup of coffee. His hands shook a little when he lifted it. "The visitors kept coming," he said. "Not all of them crashed. Some landed on purpose, some came to trade, some came to warn us, some came to spy." "Warn us about what?" Steve looked directly at Rob. "About the others, the ones who wanted to hurt us." Over the next hour, Steve told Rob the whole story. How Earth had been visited by dozens of different alien species over 70 years. How some were friendly and some were not. How the government had been secretly building defenses and making allies. General Lisa Hayes was my student, Steve said. I taught her everything I knew. She runs the military side now. And Dr. Amy Foster? Her grandfather worked with me in the beginning. Her father continued the work. Now she runs the science side. Steve finished his coffee. They are good people. They have kept Earth safe for a long time. Meanwhile, in the hidden facility under Nevada, Dr. Amy Foster was showing President Jake Morrison something that would change everything he thought he knew about Earth's history. We call this the archive, Amy said, leading Jake through a long hallway lined with strange objects. Jake stopped in front of a display case. Inside was a weapon that looked like it was made of light itself. This came from a species called the Veltar, Amy explained. They visited us in 1967. They were running from something called the Void Hunters. We helped them hide. Jake moved to the next case. It held a small crystal that glowed with soft blue light, quantum computer from the Zephyrians. They gave it to us in exchange for some of our music. Apparently they really like jazz. Jake stared at the crystal. How advanced is this? It can solve math problems that would take our best computers 1,000,000 years. We use it to predict alien ship movements. They walked deeper into the archive. Jake saw things that seemed impossible. A metal that could change shape just by thinking about it. A plant that could grow in empty space. A device that could translate any language in the galaxy. How many species have visited Earth? Jake asked. 47 that we know of, Amy said. 12 of them are what we call friendly. 8 are neutral. The rest? She did not finish the sentence. The rest want to hurt us? Amy nodded. The Draconians were number 27 to try. We stopped all of them. Jake felt dizzy. You mean this has happened before? Not on this scale. Usually just 1 or 2 ships, scout vessels, advanced teams. We made them disappear quietly. Nobody in the galaxy noticed. Amy led Jake to a room full of screens showing star maps. Major Tony Clark was there watching the displays. He was stationed on a secret base on the far side of the moon. Major Clark has been tracking hostile alien movements for 15 years, Amy said. Tony, show the president what we deal with. Tony pointed to one of the screens. 3 months ago, we detected a Krell raiding fleet heading toward Earth. 12 ships. We relocated them to the same pocket dimension where we put the Draconians. Jake stared at the screen. 12 ships just disappeared and nobody noticed? The Krell government thinks they got lost in a space storm, Tony said. It happens to them a lot. They are not very good navigators. Amy showed Jake another screen. Last year, the Thex Empire sent spies to study our defenses. We caught them and sent them home with false information. They think humans are still using nuclear weapons and chemical rockets. So the whole galaxy thinks we are primitive? Jake asked. That was always the plan, Amy said. Let them think we are weak while we get stronger. Let them underestimate us. Back at the diner, Steve Parker was finishing his story. The hardest part was keeping it secret from our own people, he said. We wanted to tell the world, but if everyone knew, the hostile aliens would know too. Rob wrote down every word. So when the Draconian fleet showed up, we were ready, Steve said. We had been ready for 20 years. Amy's people just pushed a button and moved 900 ships to another dimension. Are they still alive, the Draconians? Steve nodded. They are fine, confused and angry, but fine. They are in a place where time moves differently. What feels like months to them has only been days here. Rob looked at his notes. This is the biggest story in human history. Yes, it is, Steve said. And now you have to decide what to do with. That evening, Rob sat in his hotel room with Linda Carter. They had enough evidence to expose everything. Photos, documents, interviews. The whole secret history of Earth's contact with aliens. If we publish this, everything changes, Linda said. Rob nodded. People will panic. Governments will fall. The aliens who are still pretending to be friendly might attack, but people have a right to know. Do they? Rob asked. Sometimes secrets exist for good reasons. Before Rob could decide, his phone rang. The caller ID showed a number he did not recognize. "Mr. Phillips? This is Dr. Amy Foster. I think we need to talk." 2 hours later, Rob and Linda sat in a secret government facility. Amy Foster was there, along with General Hayes and several people Rob did not recognize. "We know what you have discovered," Amy said. "We have been watching your investigation." Rob felt nervous. "Are you going to stop us from publishing?" Amy shook her head. "No, in fact, we want you to publish it. But not yet." "Why not?" "General." Hayes leaned forward. "Because the secret is about to come out anyway. The galaxy is asking too many questions. Too many species are afraid of us now." Amy pulled out a tablet and showed Rob a news report from an alien world. The translation read, "Mysterious human capabilities concern galactic leaders." "We always knew this day would come," Amy said. "We just hoped it would be later. Now we need to control how the truth comes out." Rob looked at Linda. She looked back. At him. "What do you want us to do?" Rob asked. Amy smiled. "We want you to tell the story, the real story, about how humanity has been protecting itself for 70 years. About how we never wanted to hurt anyone. About how we only wanted to survive." General Hayes added, "The truth is coming out whether we want it to or not. We would rather have a human journalist tell it than let alien governments make up their own stories." Rob thought about it. The story of a lifetime. The story that would change everything. "When?" Rob asked. "Soon," Amy said. "Very soon. The galaxy is about to learn that humanity is not what they thought we were." Rob Phillips sat at his desk typing the most important story of his life. His article would be published in every major newspaper on Earth in 6 hours. The headline read, "The Truth About Earth's Secret War, How Humanity Has Been Fighting Aliens for 70 Years." His phone had been ringing all morning. News agencies, government officials, even some people claiming to be aliens. But Rob ignored them all. He had work to finish. Linda Carter burst into his office. "Rob, you need to see this. It is happening." She turned on the television. The news was showing live footage from space. Dozens of ships were appearing around Earth. But these were not alien ships. These were human ships. The news anchor looked confused. "These vessels appear to be of human design, but they are far more advanced than anything in our known fleet. Government sources are not commenting." Rob smiled. Dr. Amy Foster had told him this would happen. The secret was coming out, and Earth was showing its true strength. Meanwhile, in the White House, President Jake Morrison was preparing for the most important speech in human history. He stood in the Oval Office looking at notes that would change everything. General Lisa Hayes entered the room. "Mr. President, our ships are in position. Captain Susan Lee reports that the ESV Defiance is ready to depart for the Galactic Council." Jake nodded. The Defiance was humanity's first publicly revealed warship. It was beautiful and terrible, built with 70 years of secret alien technology. "How are the other governments reacting?" Jake asked. "Mixed," Lisa said. "Some are panicking. Others are excited. A few are angry that we kept this secret for so long." "And the aliens?" Lisa smiled. "They are very quiet. I think they are trying to figure out what to do next." On the bridge of the ESV Defiance, Captain Susan Lee looked out at the stars. Her ship was unlike anything humanity had ever built openly. It was 2 miles long, with weapons that could destroy, planets and shields that could stop almost anything. Her crew was made up of people who had been training in secret for decades. Commander Joe Torres had been piloting alien technology since he was 20 years old. Lieutenant Nicole Gray could speak 17 alien languages fluently. "Captain," Joe said, "we are getting messages from the Galactic Council. They want to know if we are really coming to meet them." Susan nodded. "Tell them yes. Tell them humanity is ready to take its place among the stars." Behind the Defiance, more human ships appeared. The galaxy was seeing Earth's true fleet for the first time. Hundreds of advanced vessels that had been hidden throughout the solar system for decades. Somewhere, the planet Zephyr Prime, High Chancellor Veltara watched the news reports with growing fear. The human fleet was bigger and more advanced than anything the Zephyrians had ever built. How did we miss this? She asked her advisors. They were very good at hiding, one advisor replied. Our spies reported that humans were still using primitive chemical rockets. We never looked deeper. Veltara stood and walked to her window. In the distance, she could see her own fleet. Ships that had seemed powerful yesterday now looked small and weak. Send a message to Earth, she said. Tell them we want to discuss new trade agreements immediately. The Draconian homeworld was in chaos. Regent Morthak had called an emergency meeting of every military leader in the Empire. The humans lied to us, General Karthak said. They made us think they were weak. They did not lie, Morthak replied. They just did not tell us the truth. There is a difference. What difference does it make? Our third strike fleet is gone. Our enemies will see this as weakness. Morthak looked at the reports coming in from across the galaxy. Every government was re-evaluating their relationship with humanity. Send Admiral Zethkar a message, Morthak said. Sir, Admiral Zethkar is missing. He disappeared with the fleet. No, Morthak said quietly. He is not missing. He is wherever the humans put him. And I think we need to ask very nicely for him back. On the peaceful world of Ilar, Prime Minister Lysandra was reading reports about humanity's revealed capabilities. Her people had always believed in diplomacy over warfare. Now they realized they had been talking to one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. Ambassador Rogers knew about this, she said to her advisors. He sat here and talked about peace, while his people had weapons that could destroy our world. What should we do? An advisor asked. Lysandra thought for a moment. We should be grateful that they chose to talk about peace instead of demanding our surrender. Back on Earth, Rob Phillips's article was being read by millions of people. The reaction was exactly what Dr. Foster had predicted. Some people were scared. Some were angry, but most were proud. Humanity had been protecting itself for 70 years. They had faced threats that could have destroyed the planet, and they had won every time. President Morrison appeared on television that evening. He stood behind his desk in the Oval Office looking directly at the camera. My fellow Americans and citizens of the world, he began, today, I am here to tell you the truth about humanity's place in the galaxy. For the next hour, Jake told the world everything. About the alien visitors, about the secret wars, about the technology they had developed, about the threats they had faced and defeated. We kept this secret not because we were ashamed, he said, but because we were protecting you. We were protecting all of humanity. The reaction was immediate. Alien governments across the galaxy began sending messages to Earth. Some wanted to apologize, some wanted to trade, some wanted to surrender. On the water world of Mirthol, Council Leader Nixara called an emergency session. We withdraw all our ships from human space immediately, she announced. We also offer our apologies for any misunderstandings. What misunderstandings? Asked another council member. The misunderstanding where we thought we were stronger than they were, Nixara replied. 3 days later, the ESV Defiance arrived at the Galactic Council Station. The massive space station had been built by 12 different alien species working together. It was supposed to be a symbol of cooperation and peace. Captain Susan Lee docked her ship and prepared to meet the galaxy's leaders. She wore a uniform that showed her rank and the flag of Earth. But she also wore a small device that could translate her words into any alien language. The council chamber was huge. Representatives from 47 different species sat in a circle around a central platform. Susan walked to the platform and looked at the aliens who had once thought humanity was primitive. My name is Captain Susan Lee of the Earth Star Fleet, she said. I am here to represent humanity in the Galactic Council. The chamber was completely silent. Then, one by one, the alien representatives stood up. It was a sign of respect that had not been shown to any new species in over 100 years. High Chancellor Veltara was the first to speak. Captain Lee, On behalf of the Zephyrian Empire, we welcome humanity to the Galactic Council. We apologize for any misunderstandings. In the past, Regent Morthak was next. The Draconian hegemony requests the return of our Third Strike Fleet. We also wish to discuss a peace treaty. Susan nodded. The fleet is safe. They will be returned when we reach an agreement. Prime Minister Lysandra spoke for the Alari Republic. We have always believed in peaceful cooperation. We hope humanity will join us in that belief. We have always believed in peace, Susan replied. We just also believe in being prepared for war. Over the next several hours, Susan negotiated humanity's place in the galaxy. Trade agreements, defense treaties, cultural exchanges, everything that would make Earth a major power among the stars. But the most important agreement was the simplest. 1. A promise that humanity would use its power to protect other species, not to conquer them. We have been hiding for 70 years, Susan said. We are tired of hiding. We want to be part of the galaxy. But we will not be anyone's victims, ever again. When the negotiations were finished, Susan stood on the observation deck of the Galactic Council station. Through the window, she could see the ESV Defiance and the rest of humanity's fleet. Commander Joe Torres joined her. So what happens now, Captain? Susan smiled. Now we go home and start building a better galaxy, one where everyone knows that humanity is not going anywhere. Behind them, hundreds of human ships waited in formation. The secret was out. The galaxy knew the truth, and humanity was finally ready to take its place among the stars. The age of hiding was over. The age of humanity had begun.